Because Lex Luthor would see Superman, he'd see Tony Hawk's like, they're not the same guy. I don't even know if that's Tony Hawk. I can't even be certain he's Superman. Today we're going to be talking about Darkhawk, written by Kyle Higgins and art by Juanan Ramirez. So, Chris, Darkhawk, he's your favorite superhero, right?
I've never ever heard of this guy. I thought it was somehow related to Hawkman, but we're talking about Marvel.
No, well, yes, he is a Marvel character. He's not at all like Hawkman. Hawkman, I'd say, is 1,000 times more well-known and popular than Darkhawk. So, let's just, a brief little history. Darkhawk was Chris Powell, who was the son of a policeman who found out his dad's a dirty cop. Then he went into an amusement park, found an amulet, as you do, and he became Darkhawk. And
this sounds like a Goosebumps.
You know what it reminds me of? I meant to look it up. It reminds me of this old movie where, like, a little kid finds, like, an alien robot armor, and he, like, wears it. But anyway, he uses it to become Darkhawk, and as you can see, he's kind of like a mecha superhero. He can fly, he's a 90s creation, and he is 90s definitive. He's got sharp claws, laser cannons, whatever you want, he's got it. And just like Spider-Man, he's got to learn to balance having a normal high school life, but also being a space-age superhero.
So, Preston, I do know this guy because I've been on comic TikTok a little bit. So he's the one that, like, his consciousness gets transferred into Darkhawk, right?
Yes, so before everyone thought the armor forms around him, but then he later discovers it's actually an android, and they're switching places, but he keeps his mind, and that's what's going on. So every time they switch places, his body's on a spaceship while he's Darkhawk, or the Darkhawk armor is being repaired on the spaceship.
Why is that so convoluted? Just do armor. Just do regular armor.
It is armor.
Chris, it's comics.
Yes.
But
everything has to be convoluted in comics.
I mean,
this is why I needed a 3-year break.
Look, we're not even going to be talking about the other stuff like the Cult of the Raptor, the other Darkhawks, his enemies. By the way, his enemies list include Hobgoblin, Tombstone, so basically Spider-Man villains, and of course his arch nemesis, Evil Hawk.
Darkhawk and Evil Hawk?
Evil.
First off, it's a terrible name choice because you got the Mike Hawk pun going on. Well,
Darkhawk came out in the 90s. I'm sure they weren't thinking that far ahead, Chris.
Yes, Darkhawk.
Yes, Darkhawk.
No, hey, I want some respect for Darkhawk because according to, let's see, I'm trying to find what it was. In 2099, Darkhawk is known as one of the most powerful and feared heroes in the universe. So obviously they're...
Wait, Hobgoblin and Tombstone are around in 2099?
No. They're trying to really tell kids, hey guys, in the year 2099, Darkhawk is remembered as one of the best superheroes ever. Buy his comic. He's super cool. Just trust me, he is. That's Marvel editors trying to sell kids on Darkhawk.
Oh, they did a good job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, look at Darkhawk now. He was a trading card. He was like a power-up in Disney Infinity. That's it.
Was?
Yes, you can get his claws in Disney Infinity.
He was a trophy in Smash Brothers Melee.
We can only dream.
It's just Falco's alternate identity.
Yeah.
So, yes, as you could tell, Darkhawk Mania didn't exactly catch on. I'm sure there's Darkhawk fans out there. Kyle Higgins, one of them, who wrote this story. And just to let you know, Kyle Higgins really loves Super Sentai. He wrote the best Power Rangers story of all time, Shattered Grid. He's right now writing Radiant Black, which is, if you read Darkhawk, then read Radiant Black, it's kind of obvious he kind of took I don't know which came first. Either he took ideas for Radiant Black and put it in Darkhawk, or he took his ideas from Darkhawk and put it in Radiant Black. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about Darkhawk, Heart of the Hawk. Look,
wow.
That is a title.
Yeah,
Heart of the Hawk.
To Darkhawk, Dark. We're just going
I
to call
feel
it.
like people who made comics in the 90s never said their titles out loud, clearly.
Oh, no, Chris, this is to celebrate 30 years of Darkhawk. This came out last year.
Oh.
This is.
Oh, I see.
We're gonna. This is the new Hawkness, if you will. Okay, we're gonna make all the kids love Darkhawk.
The Jesus Christ.
So let's start off. So how do you get kids like Darkhawk? Well, let's begin by getting rid of Chris Powell and introducing everyone to Connor Young. Now, Connor Young is a young basketball protege. You know, all the kids love him. He's going places.
The kids love basketball.
Yeah, of course the kids love basketball.
Kids love sports.
Yeah. So in this thing, Connor Young, he's a young basketball protege, and he wins the big game, and everyone loves him. And he could go to ESU, Empire State University, same school as Peter Parker. Really gotta push Peter Parker there.
Yo.
After the big game, he meets up with his friend Derek, and they bump into Sean. Now, Sean is this kind of like an older version of Connor, in that like he was also a basketball protege, but he never really went anywhere.
I want to point out.
Yes.
Second page.
Yes.
Second page of the comic.
Yes.
I love the first panel, the first big panel, where I am assuming Connor is like in the middle, like samurai fucking
Yes.
Like screaming.
Yes.
Like samurai victory. I love that because just the way he's drawn it just looks like anime pose.
Well, you're gonna see a lot of anime in this comic, okay? Like, if you go on, you're gonna see there's this weird little wavy thing, like where he goes no. It's like on the 4th page.
Okay.
Just gonna wait. Chris, you're with
us. Oh.
Hold on.
He's tripping balls.
Yes.
Oh, God!
Yes, it looks like he's tripping balls, but actually it's much, much worse. But we'll get into that in a second. So anyway, Connor and Derek, they talk about how great the game is. They bumped into Sean. Next day, Derek is meeting with his dad, and his dad is really like, he's really all in on Connor. He's like, you gotta make videos, you gotta make, really sell yourself, that kind of thing. He's all in on his son being the next big thing. Until Connor has another kind of moment, and he goes to the doctor and find out Connor has MS.
Oh no.
Yes.
That is way worse.
Yes, that is way worse. And now Connor has this kind of like dilemma of, do I tell my teammates, or because he's worried about his future now, because he's all in on basketball, but he fears he might not have a basketball future because of this. And I do want to point out, a lot of these issues have little interviews with MS experts about like, how does this happen? How do you combat it? So I do appreciate that. But we'll get back to that in a second.
Really nice.
Yes. So Connor, as you can tell, is kind of going through some emotions, and if you're a high school kid, what do? You go stare at the water.
Mm.
You gotta think.
What we all did that in high school.
Most of this issue, I will say this: the first issue is mainly about Connor and his family dilemma. You should really check it out, read it for yourself, all the people listening. But yes, this is really just set up on Connor. Not much superhero shenanigans happen here until the end, which we're about to get to. So
this big fucking blonde dude.
That's the big blonde dude. That's Sean. That's the that's the guy who used to be Connor. Like I was the big shot. I was going places.
Doesn't look like he's going many places.
You'll be surprised where Sean's going.
Oh no.
Oh, he's gonna be Evil Hawk.
I wouldn't go that. No, where are you getting that from? So near the end, not Sean, Connor. Connor's like looking at the water, thinking about his future, when all of a sudden, boom, a meteor hits by him, and there's almost kills some construction workers. And he sees that one of the construction workers is trapped, and he goes out to help him, and he sees a little diamond. Diamond calls out to him, Connor, Connor. He grabs the diamond, and holy smokes, he becomes the new Darkhawk. Yeah, Darkhawk is in this Darkhawk comic.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. So Connor rescues the construction worker, and the construction worker, I assume, is the biggest Darkhawk fan ever, because he even says, like, hey, you look like that superhero from years ago. Because it's Marvel, we can't say how long.
So he actually existed in this timeline beforehand?
Yeah, no,
30 years ago?
No, okay. Darkhawk exists in the present. I'm just saying, by the year 2099, he will be famous.
And they just started saying that last year for the 30th anniversary.
Yes. Well,
like in this comic.
Not in this comic.
Yeah, I see the dude going, hey, you look kind of like that one guy. What was his name?
Yeah, hey, Jimmy Two Shoes, I think, right? Yeah. But yes, I if you live in the Marvel universe, there's thousands of superheroes. I will forgive you if you don't remember Darkhawk, who was there for like a minute.
He's probably he's probably thinking of like, oh, you know what? You look like Iron Man.
Yeah, you do look like Iron Man. Are you Iron Man? You've got the suit and the wings, and you're just an Iron Man ripoff. Anyway. So
look exactly like Iron Man.
So not enough, like, he's now riding this high. Connor sees, like, there's some bank robbers, but they've got, like, 90s future tech. Like, hey, we've got this future tech, let's go rob some banks. So he stops the bank robbers, who again have, like, laser missiles and stuff. Yes, Nick?
Oh my god! He stops these bank robbers, and one goes, who the hell is that? And the other replies, Cooler War Machine?
So, I agree with Chris. I think War Machine's pretty cool. I don't think this is...
Yeah, War Machine was my favorite for a minute. But I mean, like, not being biased, this guy's just too edgy.
Yeah.
Like...
He was created in the 90s.
No, Nick.
Yeah, I know.
Nick...
hold it against him.
Nick and Chris, thank you for reminding me. Back in the 90s, Darkhawk's, how some people had taglines. Spider-Man, boosted gold, fighting crime before his time. Darkhawk's was, he is the edge against crime.
Oh my god. That doesn't even make a ton of sense.
No, he's going to edge out crime.
And then Shadow the Hedgehog's theme starts playing. I am Shadow.
I am. Hey, that song slaps. Anyway, so
it does. It's Crush 40. Like,
I did not think we talked. That's on me. I should have known we were going to talk about Shadow the Hedgehog when we talk about Darkhawk. Anyway, so he stops the bank robbers and he goes home to his dad. And he's like, Dad, you won't believe it. And just like. Never mind. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. And our first issue.
You old man.
You're just an old man. You don't know what's cool, old man. Darkhawk. But the issue ends. It turns out the bank robbers work for Sean, and one of them is his best friend Derek.
I just saw that.
Yeah. So,
I went through a few pages.
So in this bit, did Darkhawk like beat up the bank robbers?
He beat them up and it's like, haha, and then he left and it's like, okay, well, he didn't tie us up, so we can go, right?
He sucks.
He just beat the shit out of him and was like, yeah, stay there for the police, idiot, and then left.
I'm sorry, what happened? He beat us up, said stay in school, winners don't do drugs, then he flew away, and like, I don't know. What was I supposed to do? I left. Look, give him a break. I just want to point out, in the span of 24 hours, he's learning as MS, and he's a superhero now. So, he can't get it right the first time. Anyway, so Connor goes home, and he's just looking at himself in the mirror, and he's switching back and forth between like his normal self and his Darkhawk self. You know, like, oh, normal Darkhawk, normal Darkhawk. You know, like he's a teenage boy. I'm sure many of us would be doing that. So
he just does kind of transform, doesn't he? Wow.
it really it's a mental thought. That's all you gotta do. You just gotta think about it, and you become Darkhawk. Anyway, enough superhero shenanigans. We check back with Connor and his father. He's looking at all the medicine and syringes and pills he has to take to help combat MS because it's still in the early stages. So he still has a chance, you know, to like, you know, he's still hoping he can get that basketball scholarship. Connor's father is a lot more hopeful than Connor is. Connor's kind of like given up. They're also debating about should we tell the basketball team or not. Like, I haven't really told anyone outside of my BFF Derek, and that's because I love Derek. Derek would never do anything bad, so of course I tell him all my deepest, darkest secrets.
As of now, like this comic's more like grounded in reality, and I like it.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard anything too crazy yet. It's like thrown me off my rocker, you know.
Well, again, this is made last. It's a '90s character brought into the modern day. So anyway, the next day, Derek shows up and he wants to like, hey, new kicks are dropping soon. Let's go to that new shoe drop thing that we've been waiting for months. And it's like, I can't, Derek. I've got no money. Most of it's going to medicine. It's cool. I'll cover you. That's my big surprise. I've fallen into... My grandmother gave me a gift card that I sold for cash, so I will cover... That's where my money is coming from. So, that's his whole...
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Tommy was like, don't worry about it.
Don't
Where's
worry.
the
They couldn't say Amazon.
Yes, it's
They said Amazon.
Amazon. It's...
Amazon.
No, Amazon. It's an M. Amazon.
It's-
A-M-A-Z-M.
Yes, it's Amazon, but with an M instead of an N and no O.
Amazon.
Amazon.
That's just lazy. But
I
go
mean-
on.
I
I
mean-
guess it's not important.
It's not. I mean, they could have done the Roxxon Corporation, because Roxxon's like the stand-in for all evil mega corporations. But anyway, they're on their way to the shoe drop, and they see like the place the robbers were robbing last night, and you know, and again, both Derek and Connor were there, but neither know each other was there. So just like, hey, why would anyone want to rob this place? And Derek's like, well, it's a small town. There's no superheroes. There's not supposed to be any superheroes. Do you know why there'd be a superhero last night? Anyway, Derek's whole thing is he hates his town and he wants to get out, but there's no opportunity outside of Connor, who's a basketball prodigy. While Connor believes, well, it's my town. We should want to like take care of it and love it and protect it. So already you've got some, you know, competing ideologies. So they're at PVRMO. I am not reading these acronyms. They're at the shoe drop store, and it's a long line. And Derek decides to be that guy. He's like, hey, we've got Connor Young, basketball prodigy, and he's waiting in line? Do you not know who he is? He's Connor Young. And they get to pass the whole line to go get these shoes. And one of the people they pass in line is Miles Morales and his best friend Genki Lee.
Wait, really? That's Miles?
What? Yeah.
That's Miles?
That's Miles. And Genki's great because he's...
Why is he in this small town?
Sorry, they're in Brooklyn. I forgot. I'm sorry, they're in Brooklyn. They're in Brooklyn. They're still in New York. But I mean, like, their little borough of Brooklyn, like that. And plus, they're here, Nick, to get the new shoes. That's what everyone's here for. We're here for the new shoes.
These shoes seem important.
They're not. They are and they aren't. Genki suggests
it's the shoes from Holes. You know, it's like the shoes from Holes.
Yes, it turns out Darkhawk is the relative of Stanley Yelnats, and they will use it to find the treasure.
Hold on. Stanley
There's
Yelnats,
the comic bullshit.
That sounds really familiar.
That's the main
Stanley
character.
Yelnats.
That's the main character of Holes.
From Holes.
Oh, you were okay.
Yes, his first name was his last name backwards.
Yes, it was. He was played by LaBeef.
Yeah, the beef. I just want to point this out. Genki's a little upset that they get to, cut in line because he's a famous basketball prodigy. And he's like, hey, Miles, maybe we should tell everybody who you are. Maybe then we'll, get some free shoes, huh? No? Okay. We won't do that. Maybe, unless you change your mind. Anyway, so they get their shoes, and they immediately get jumped. Hey, nice shoes, thanks. Well, they're mine. So these guys steal their shoes. So they chase after them, and they're just, already got their guns out and ready. Derek goes to fight them. He can't fight guns, but then all of a sudden, Darkhawk shows up. And he's like, hey, guys, I'm here to stop you from being thieves. So Darkhawk beats up the thieves, but then Derek picks up one of their guns and shoots Darkhawk.
Was Darkhawk like, now wait here for the police?
Yeah. No, he's more like, dude, why'd you shoot me? You're my best friend. I mean, who are you? Why'd you shoot me? But he is an android, so it's not like, that really didn't do much. It's like, what the F is wrong with you? Trying to shoot me after I just saved your life. But we only got 5 issues, so we're gonna go through this real quick, because as soon as he shoots him, he's like, wait, it's me! And he shows that Darkhawk is Connor. So he's like, what the... So they kind of, get their secrets off their chest. Connor admits he's Darkhawk, Derek admits he's one of the thieves from last night.
The end.
Yeah. Yes, the end. But then, hold on, because we gotta put them in, Spider-Man Miles Morales shows up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So he
yeah,
actually has purpose.
Yes, he
Well, yo.
Miles Morales has more of a purpose than just, a cameo. Miles shows up.
At least they were because you were saying how Darkhawk has Spider-Man villains, basically.
Yeah.
And now they actually tied Spider-Man into it.
Spider-Man was
nice.
BFFs with Darkhawk in the past. Darkhawk would show up in Spider-Man comics just like, hey, this guy's pretty cool, go read his comic. They were really pushing Darkhawk back in the day. But that was Peter Parker. Since this is a new Darkhawk, we're going to use a new Spider-Man, Miles Morales, which I think is fitting.
New Spider-Man.
Well, he is a new Spider-Man.
Okay, well, he's been around for a while.
Yes, he is. Then the next generation of Spider-Man helping out the next generation of Darkhawk.
Yeah.
Or another way to put, a more popular character trying to help Darkhawk.
It's nepotism via comic.
That's usually how it is.
At least it wasn't Captain America, he just shows up,
Yeah, just reasoning behind where they all are and everything.
Yes. Anyway, they both lie to Spider-Man, saying Darkhawk showed up and he took care of these guys. We're BFFs. We love each other. Blah blah blah. Spider-Man swings away, doing nothing. Anyway, Derek goes back to Sean and tells him hey, I can't get the Darkhawk armor because Derek was tasked. I don't know how he was going to do this. He was tasked to get the armor from Darkhawk.
I'm gonna peel it off your skin after I shoot you with a regular gun.
So Connor essentially had the job of going into
Derek.
Stark Industries and stealing Iron Man armor.
Derek.
Essentially.
Well, here's the thing. One, it's not Iron Man, so since it's not Iron Man, it should theoretically be easy. And two, all you gotta do is kill him and then take the armor off of him. What's so difficult about that?
What's so difficult about just shooting a man to death?
Yeah, listen.
It's not like it'll scar you for life or,
he's in a game.
Ruin your chances at anything.
Okay, Nick, he's in a game. He knew what he was signing up for when they gave him, laser guns.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So...
You know what? Yeah, I guess so.
So, the boss of this game, because Sean's not the boss, he's the mini-boss. The boss shows up, Mr. Colt, and he hears how Derek can't do it, so he kills Derek for failure of bringing in Darkhawk.
Oh no!
Yes. Derek, our BFF, who tried to sell us out to some gangbangers, is now dead.
Yo, this dude looks like if Wesker wasn't wearing sunglasses and were all white.
Hey, that's too accurate. We'll call him Wesker. So Wesker kills Derek, tells him, you're not ready for the brand new world I'm going to create, and then shoots him. just like Wesker always does.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the next day, Connor's like text messaging Derek, and Derek is totally ghosting him. He doesn't know why yet. And they're going to the dock.
I love that cover. I love that cover of issue 3.
Yes, it's. Let's talk about that cover real quick. How it's the most 90s, but in a good way. I feel with like just him screaming at the tombstone of his best friend in his Darkhawk.
Love the no sort of pose.
No, Derek, why'd you do this?
Oh, I just saw it. Oh my god.
But look, do you see though who's he screaming at? So like when you see the cover, oh no, who's dead? And you find, oh, it's Derek.
Well, I mean, it was kind of
Yes,
implied last issue that Derek died.
yes, but if you were walking in the comic book store and you're like, oh no, who's this Darkhawk fella and why is he screaming dramatically? I'll pick up this issue and find out.
Why is he so angry at this tombstone?
Yeah, because it reminds me of Tombstone, who the previous Darkhawk fought. And, oh, dropped it. Anyway, so he's at the doctor's office, and he got a CAT scan, and basically new lesions are popping up, and basically every time he switches into Darkhawk, it's a lot of brain activity, and it's really speeding up what's going on in his body. And I don't know what to say about this, because we don't come back to this. I think they were saving it for future Darkhawk comics, which I still do not have, so do with that what you will. So, if you're expecting I shouldn't turn it to Darkhawk because it'll mess up my brain, this is it. That's all you get of it.
Oh.
Yes. So he decides to do like a little practicing as Darkhawk, and this is where I get some of the Radiant Black comparisons, because a similar scene happens in that comic. Connor takes off his head, and there's nothing underneath, because he's an android.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yes. He's like, whoa, I'm not gonna do that again. And, hey, we just had a fun superhero moment. We need to balance that out. He gets the phone call. Derek is dead, and it's all his... Well, it's not all his fault, but Derek's dead, and he's super ticked off about it. Yeah.
And he goes screams at his grave.
Not yet, he's not buried
So, in the span of a few days,
yet.
he has found out that he has MS,
Yes.
has become an android superhero,
Yes.
found out on his first stint as an android superhero he has fought his best friend,
Yes.
and now and has also met Spider-Man.
Yes.
And now his friend who he was fighting with is dead. In the span of how many days? 2, 3?
I'd like to point this out. Recently, in X-Men, it was established all of X-Men comics have taken over the past of 10 years, which is a lot to happen in just 10 years. So,
Jesus
like,
Christ.
So like the recent ones or all of them?
Ever since X-Men #1 to the X-Men comic that came out that established it, it's all been in the span of 10 years. So,
wait, so when... It doesn't make any sense.
I'm bringing this up to say a lot happens in a short amount of time in the Marvel Universe, Nick.
When did, like, X-Men become into existence, like, mutants in the comics?
A couple years ago.
2012?
No,
you know?
Every time you'll find they never are specific in Marvel comics. Like every time Spider-Man fights a supervillain, like let's just say he hasn't seen that villain in 10 years, he's gonna go, "Oh, hey, Chameleon, I haven't seen him for a little bit." He's never like, "I haven't seen him for 2 years." It's always vague because we can't be specific. Because then that leads into questions like, how old is Spider-Man? How old is Iron Man? If he was, it opens up a can of worms Marvel doesn't want to answer.
Yeah, I guess that's a smart decision.
Yes. So all of X-Men have all X-Men events have taken place within 10 years. So yes, Nick, this could happen in 2 days. You good with that? This happened in the span of 2 days.
Spider-Man ain't got
I didn't
shit
say
on Darkhawk's origin.
I didn't say I wasn't okay with it. That's just a lot to happen in 2 fucking days.
I just want to point out, there was an event called War of the Realms, where all 9 realms of Asgard attack Earth, and then a couple months later, there was a symbiote invasion. So, yeah, if you live in Marvel, you're gonna have to get ready for stuff like this.
Wonder if they have
Sounds
insurance
terrible.
for that.
Now we got Inhuman insurance, mutant insurance, symbiote insurance, Asgard insurance. Name your price.
I'm sorry. You're covered for mutant insurance, but that's clearly an Inhuman. Well, how can you tell? We can tell. We can tell.
Don't look into it.
Don't look into it. I'm just saying, I haven't seen them on the X-Men team. Anyway,
Yeah.
Derek's dead. Forget him. Connor goes to a bar where he knows Sean is hanging out with. He's like, hey, I know you were messing with Derek. You better tell me what happened. And Sean's like, I'm not telling you anything. Connor's like, fair enough. So he leaves. And then 2 seconds later, Darkhawk shows up and is like, hey, you're going to tell me everything about that kid who died, or else. And he's like, oh, I'll tell you. So, who's Darkhawk?
It's a smart move. It's a smart move. He's using his power smartly, I guess.
Yeah, he opens with, I hear you want my armor.
Yes, well, I think that's
which
pretty cool.
is, yeah, that's a really good one. I like that.
Yes. So he does the Batman thing where, like, he flies up and is like, he drops him and he catches you, like, oh, and like Cirque du Soleil, he's like, tell me everything about who did this. And that's what he does. He tells him about Wesker. Yes, we're just going to call, I know his name is Mr. Colt, we're going to call him Wesker. So he tells about Wesker and where he works, and like, oh, he works out of a warehouse. So Darkhawk,
as all villains do.
Listen, I don't know what warehouses are used for in the Marvel Universe outside of hiding villain plans. So if there's another...
That's in all comics. Like, every comic, it's like, yes, I hide this armor I am building in this indiscriminate warehouse that I own.
Well, it's indiscriminate warehouses in Marvel. In DC, it's like, oh, where's Joker? Okay, go to an amusement park or a stand-up comedy lounge. That's usually where he is. So, yeah.
But, like, why do the heroes get superhero bases and villains get warehouses?
Well,
that's discriminatory.
It's not discriminatory.
Because villains don't make money, Chris.
Sometimes.
Crime never pays. And if it pays, they're using it on drugs and alcohol because they're villains.
This is a 90s comic. Gotta have a PSA in it, yes. And I think Nick's right on the money, almost. If you're a supervillain, Chris, you don't want to be advertising like freaking Cobra Commander. Hey, this is our base. Here's our logos. The only one who really does that is...
Start the Cobra building.
Yeah, the only one who really does that is, like, Dr. Doom and Dr. Doofenshmirtz, because, like, they fear no man.
And Lex Luthor.
And Lex Luthor. Well, he's got a clean record, so, we can't really mess with him.
True.
Yes. So anyway, Darkhawk goes to the warehouse where Albert Wesker is waiting for him with all of his cyborg nonsense, because he is actually a robotics genius, and that's why he wants Darkhawk's armor. It's like, oh, I want to cut it open and, like, see what's inside ya.
I love there's base there. I love it's a variety.
Yeah.
We have a brain in a jar, basically. We have a dude who's got, like, cybernetic arms. We have an abomination that is, like, mostly just the head of a human and the body of a robot scorpion, and then a big suit of armor.
Yes.
It's really...
Wow.
I like the variety.
It's like the beginning of RoboCop 2 with all the reject RoboCops. Like, yes, you can see why Wesker wants Darkhawk's armor, because between these, jobbers and Darkhawk has the cooler armor, I feel.
I love watching this fight because these dudes are clearly experienced, and as they're charging, Darkhawk goes, you guys look really organized.
And then he blasts them. Because that's the other thing about Darkhawk. He's just a walking weapon. He's got wings, claws, blasts. It's a fun fight, yes. Anyway, though, despite, he should be able to beat these guys, he does get, blasted out by, I don't know, they don't have names, but let's just call him Jack, the metal arm guy.
Ah, okay.
The metal arm guy blasts him out, and he falls into the river because they're on a warehouse, and he's drowning because he's a cyborg. He's an android, so he's heavy naturally. Where he gets
But he has to
saved.
breathe.
What?
But he has to breathe.
He's inside the android.
No, he's
What?
no. Well, yeah, he
took off his head.
Okay, so the Darkhawk is drowning, but we cut to Connor in like one of those septic eggs from like the Matrix, which is where his body is. So you could kind of like imagine it's all mental. Like I'm under the water, thus my brain believes I'm drowning.
I get you. That makes I see that. Okay.
Yes. But then he gets rescued by Spider-Man.
I love him. I love it. I love this. I love this a lot. I like Miles Morales Spider-Man, so I like seeing him.
Oh, well, I don't know how you're going to feel about this. So Miles and Darkhawk kind of have this conversation, both about being a superhero and also talking about MS to his basketball mates. So like, hey, I haven't told anyone I have MS yet because, they're going to judge me and all that stuff. And Miles is like, well, we got to work as a team. You need to be honest with them and everything. Also, let's go take down Wesker. P.S. Captain America is here.
Yeah, I looked at the cover of Darkhawk 4 and I was like, I literally mentioned.
Do you think it was because they were like, Miles Morales isn't enough? Throw in Captain America.
Probably.
Maybe Captain America has also shown up a couple times in Miles's comic. Like, I think it was him, Captain America, and Rhino took down, like, a child trafficker, recently. So, like, he's BFFs with Cap right now.
Did they need that much force to take down a child trafficker?
Yes, because it wasn't a child trafficker. He was using collars to make the children commit crimes, so he had, like, an army of children.
But did you need the Rhino to take out an army of children?
Yes.
Who else is gonna kill the children?
No, because Rhino's girlfriend's kid or niece, I think, was one of the kidnapped children. So it's kind of like, hey, I want to impress my girlfriend, so I'm gonna help you out. But,
wow, very deep. Okay.
Look,
let's just continue.
We're not talking about Rhino. We're talking about Captain America, Miles, and, everyone's favorite superhero, Darkhawk, attacking and taking down Wesker and his island of misfit toys of, freaks.
I would almost compare it more to the Toy Story, like the kid's
Sid's
room in Toy Story. Sid's room in Toy Story.
You know what? That's fair, because they were probably normal people, then Wesker did this to them, just like Sid.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I do like that in the opening they're in a cafe and Miles is just still in Spider-Man and they're just like,
well, yeah, I mean, okay, to be fair, all of X-Men has happened within the last 10 years. I feel like if you saw a superhero, you'd be like, okay.
True.
Yeah, just like,
True, this is the Marvel Universe.
This is the Marvel Universe.
I would love to think just I am working my 9 to 5 and out the corner of my eye, outside, I just see Captain America running after fucking Red Skull, and I'm like, all right, cool. I guess that's happening.
I thought
I'm gonna be late to work. Captain America is just like holding up traffic.
Okay, but that's like the third time you've said that. Either use a different route or leave 5 minutes early. I don't know what to tell you. You can't keep blaming Captain America. I honestly thought you were gonna say how weird would it be to be the waiter, and like, oh, here's your bill, Spider-Man, and like, I know you save us, but still, you ordered 2 croissants and a coffee.
I can't imagine Spider-Man going out in his spider suit to eat, because then he keeps his mask on and he just shoves food into the mask.
Well, he does.
He's just like pushing it through this way.
He pulls it up.
Yeah, he pulls it.
That's some risky shit. I would never do that.
Would you really be able to tell someone by their mouth, Chris? If I did this, would you still know it was me?
Superheroes. There's probably a person's power. It's like, I can identify you just by your lips. Some fucking mutant out there.
Or an Inhuman.
I am lip identifier man.
I'm lip reader.
Lip reader.
Lip reader.
That would be. He's a real thing now.
Yeah. Look, if iBoy can exist, Lip Reader can exist. But anyway,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So anyway, they take down Wesker, and now we're gonna go move on. You know, it's a big action, fun stuff. But Sean escaped, so we still gotta deal with Sean. So it's the day of Derek's funeral, so I guess it's been like, 2 more days ever since he took down Wesker. Yeah, so, and he meets up with Derek's sister. And Derek's sister, Sarah, is kind of a little upset just because there's like reporters and paparazzi here, but they're really more for Connor, because Connor's like the next big thing in basketball. It's kind of like, oh, all the limelight's on you, Connor, just as usual, my brothers, whatever. And he also gets letters from ESU. ESU, he's accepted, he's going to ESU, but it's on a basketball scholarship. So, we gotta deal with that, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, what was that? Oh, shoot, that was a serious moment. We need to balance this out. Sean shows up, and he knows Connor's Darkhawk, because he's a smart guy, actually, because he realized, gee, you asked me about Derek, and then 2 seconds later, Darkhawk showed up asking me about Derek. So, yeah, no big deal. I figured out you're Darkhawk. And
yeah, that is smart.
Then he gets a laser.
That's very smart.
Let's calm it down a bit. It doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure that out.
He's a genius. He's a genius.
Anyway,
yeah. It's like the one. It's like the one dude. There's got to be at least one dude in DC besides Lex Luthor who knows Clark Kent is Superman because he takes off the glasses. There's got to be at least one guy who's like, "I'm fucking telling you, everyone, it's Clark."
Yeah, and they threw him in the insane asylum because that's all he said each day, every day. He's like, "Oh, he's nuts," and Superman just laughed heartedly.
Dude, that's just Superman's power. Is once you figure out he's Clark Kent, you just go crazy.
It actually is. Lex Luthor spends $1 billion trillion on a machine to figure out who Superman is, and the machine's like, "Hey, it's Clark Kent." And Lex Luthor just goes, it's broken, because there's no way it's Clark Kent. This machine sucks.
Doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean? It's like that scene from Willy Wonka, just like, it won't tell me the truth.
Oh, right. But they look...
I'll tell the machine exactly what it can do with a lifetime supply of chocolates.
With the secret identity of Superman. But yes, so that's... Oh wait, we're back at Darkhawk. Dang it, I was enjoying Superman, but I forgot we're reading a freaking Darkhawk book. Anyway,
rather pretend reading Superman than actually read Darkhawk.
So Sean becomes a 90s action figure cyborg. He's like, I'm gonna fight you, Darkhawk. And they have like a cool little fight scene. And Sean actually does pretty good until Darkhawk unleashes his ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom Super on him, which defeats him.
Yep.
Yes.
That does definitely look like a Marvel Super.
Yes. So Sean is defeated, and Miles Morales shows up and is like, "Hey, I didn't help at all." And he literally is like that, because it's just kind of like, "Hey, we literally just had this whole conversation about working together. Why didn't you call me for help?" And it's like, teamwork makes the dream work and all that. That's the lesson of this story. And so our story ends with Connor telling the basketball team he has MS, and they're just like, "Hey, guess what? We're not a team anymore. We're a family. We still love you, and we're gonna be there for you, bro." And they all kind of like hug each other and circle jerk, and it's just such a big, happy time for everybody.
The classic Marvel circle jerk ending.
Yeah, I mean, that's how every Avengers movie ends. They all circle like, "Oh, we did such a good job."
True. They all went for shawarma and circle jerked in there.
Yeah, that's why no one else is in there, because they just started to circle jerk, and all the other customers just started to leave.
Can I just... Oh my god, the designs of the hairstyles of these kids in the team, my god.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a modern day high school. This is what kids look like today.
I certainly do see teenagers walking around with fucking like hair this fucking tall on their head.
Nick, we just established that this is very anime inspired, so this is like, play the protagonist, okay?
True, because the blonde dude has massive anime hair.
Yeah, I just want to point out the blonde dude is very detailed, and like he even gets the "with family" line. This is where he first shows up.
He's gonna get, like, if this takes off, which it probably doesn't, knowing that it's a year later and there's no Darkhawk comics, if this took off, this guy was gonna be a main character.
He was
either gonna be like a sidekick or a villain.
He'd be Derek too.
Maybe
he'd be Derek.
He was blonde. Yeah, they're both blonde.
Yes. So a comic ends with Connor kind of like, "Hey, I know one thing's for sure. My whole world's going to be different." And then we cut to null space, which is where the armor goes whenever he's not Darkhawk. And you see another Darkhawk is watching it, and he just goes, "Everything changes. I'll be watching you, Connor." And maybe it's Chris, the previous Darkhawk? I don't know. It ends with "the end?" a question mark. And read Darkhawk if we decide to do anything. But Kyle Higgins is at Image right now, writing Radiant Black, which is like a better version of this. So I don't think we're going to find out what happens to Darkhawk for a while. And
is Radiant Black not related to it?
No, Radiant Black is literally a writer finds a black hole that turns him into an android Power Ranger thing, and he can switch back and forth between being Radiant Black and himself.
So Darkhawk.
Yeah. Oh, so it's Darkhawk.
It's Darkhawk, but he can swear.
Oh.
Yes.
Wait, can Darkhawk not swear?
No, because
he says in one of the lines, he says, "Oh fuck,"
but it's censored.
It's sweared.
It's censored.
It's like the
Oh, it's the little like the
symbols.
Yeah, Radiant Black is an Image comic. That means anything can happen. It also takes place in its own universe. So it's like there's no other superheroes. It's just Radiant Black and other people who found the black holes. So there's like Radiant Red, Radiant Yellow, Radiant Blue. It's literally Power Rangers meets Darkhawk.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So that's really bad, I feel like, when we talk about Darkhawk. It's like, no, read Radiant Black.
And also Superman. And War Machine.
And you know what? Miles Morales. You know who's pretty cool in this comic is Miles. And
Miles Morales, yeah.
But yes, that is Darkhawk. I thought it'd be best for us to begin not with a Bane, but with a whimper. That's why we start off with 90s redheaded stepchild Darkhawk.
Here's the thing. I feel like Darkhawk could be a good character to bring in the MCU. Yeah. I liked it. It's a cool concept. Cool character. Really?
Well, he's pretty plain. Like, I like the story beats. Like, I liked his personal struggles, but as a superhero, he's pretty plain.
I mean, well, first off, he's got the whole Peter Parker thing going with him. The whole, I gotta balance out my normal life, and also I'm a space-age superhero. Because, like, the original Darkhawk comics, he'd go into, like, space and stuff like that, while also fighting gangsters, so... Yeah.
Just jack of all trades.
Jack of all... We're gonna throw everything
against... and beat up planetary, like, destroyers, and then be like, now wait for the cops.
That's the classic Darkhawk method.
Can I just say that I love the image of, like, he goes into space, kills destroys a planetary destroyer, comes back, and fights some gangsters who say to themselves, this guy just, goes into space and fights aliens. I think I have a chance.
That's the thing though. You can't just beat up the mobsters, throw them in like a jail courtyard and say it's all yours, officer. Like there's due process. He needs like evidence and stuff. But yes, look, Darkhawk was created by Tom DeFalco, who wrote Spider-Man for a good 10 years. So that could be why there's a lot of Spider-Man influence in Darkhawk.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
Now, which superhero was it that was the skateboarder?
Night Thrasher. And that's funny
Okay.
because he was on the New Warriors, and Darkhawk would sometimes show up with the New Warriors.
See, so I had two, like, when you said Darkhawk, I had two things in my head. It was this guy and
Night
Night
Thrasher.
Thrasher.
Yes.
I was like, it was either him or that guy.
Well, they're both 90s creations who still struggle to find life in the modern day.
Well, I mean, Night Thrasher is just a dude who kind of skateboards real good.
Oh, and so is Tony
That's
Hawk.
But Tony Hawk was never a superhero.
Says you.
Well, Tony Hawk's superpower is that when you see him, you don't recognize him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the worst superpower.
No, it's the best because Tony Hawk is Superman. Because if Tony Hawk was Superman, it'd be perfect. Because Lex Luthor would see Superman, he'd see Tony Hawk's like, they're not the same guy. I don't even know if that's Tony Hawk. I can't even be certain he's Superman.
The machine that he creates doesn't even know it's Tony Hawk. It's like Tony Hawk ?
Tony Darkhawk?
Tony. That's great. I thought new Hawkness.
Next Tony Hawk game, Darkhawk better make an appearance as a playable skater.
No, you fools! If they put Darkhawk in the MCU, they should do Connor Young as the Darkhawk, and Tony Hawk should be Chris Powell, and he'll be like the mentor, like Michael Douglas in the Ant-Man films.
And then they skate together with Night Thrasher.
Yes, and they're all holding hands.
Yes. This is a comic I want to read.
And the comic ends with them going over a hill holding hands on skateboards.
Yes.
And they're all like in that almost that kind of jumping pose, but they're on skateboards.
Yeah, and they're all going, yeah! And it stops.
Yeah!
Everywhere you look, everywhere.
Everywhere. No, since it's Tony Hawk, it's gotta be Superman by Goldfinger.
So, yeah, I totally forgot what happened in the comic we just read. I'm more focused on, Tony Darkhawk and the Hawketeers or whatever this was. But yes, thank you for joining us on Longbox Legends. I know we're still trying to get back in the groove of things. Hopefully, I feel like our next story will be much more meat to chew on in the next one we do. But this was like, hey, I remember Darkhawk exists. Darkhawk is one of those things where, like, you forget he exists until you see him, and then you remember he's a thing.
Like most creations of the 90s.
Yes, like most creations of the 90s.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should do one on the guy who explodes blood. That'd be cool.
Are you talking about Bailey, the worst X-Men ever?
No. The Extremo guy?
Extreme. I think his name is literally like Extreme.
Oh,
I think he was made by...
You're thinking of Adam X the Extreme. Yes, I remember. That's right. Yeah. He can boil your blood, but only if you can, like, see it.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was created by Rob Liefeld. Because
yes.
Of course he was.
What? Adam X the Extreme. How is he not in a movie yet? He's the best.
Well, they can't do anything with blood. They can't do anything with blood right now. Morbius already flopped.
No,
they can't do anything with blood right now.
What are you talking about? No, you mean Morbius cornered the blood, superhero market and made $1 trillion billion. We'd be fools to try to imitate Morbius. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.